there, Mac the Reactor, fresh out the trash compactor. You all know me by now as your favourite England-born, somewhat Australian-sounding Reactor. He's a big boss like Rick Ross. He goes harder than Slipknot. He's in permanent beast mode without even applying the cheat code, baby. He's so crazy. Man, I hope everybody's doing well right now. I know there's a lot more going down than the lockdown, but I hope you all are safe regardless, okay? Every one of my viewers, as you all know, Black Lives Matter. There's a lot going on right now, and I think we can all just do the best we can do by being supportive. Let people have their moment. Let's not talk about other lives that matter, or let's not talk about what offices are cool and which ones aren't. Let's let black people have their moment. Black Lives Matter. At the end of the day, somebody was killed and they shouldn't have been, and people are getting away with it way too much. So let's get that addressed. Let's let people protest, and then we can go back to addressing what other lives matter, and we can talk about who the good officers are and we can praise them, but for now, let's let people have their moment. Anyway, I hadn't even planned to do that, by the way. I was going to just quickly mention that, but when I go and quickly mention something, you'll know me by now. I kind of expand on it even if I don't mean to. So, in more positive news, I'm continuing with my Pentatonix journey. By the way, just to rewind back, I don't need feedback on anything I just said. That is how I feel. You're free to express, but just know I don't need feedback on it. So, something that does need a little bit of feedback, though, is the journey that we've been going on together. So we've been on this Pentatonix journey. This is their 8th performance. So this one is called Stuck Like a Glue by Sugarland. I don't know if I'm familiar with the song. Sometimes I say I'm not, and then when I actually hear the song, I'm like, oh, yeah, I've heard that before. So we're going to get into the 8th performance, which I heard is a big one. So I'm about to put some mac on this cheese. Let's have some fun with it.
What do I know about country? My mom loves it.
Country music is just so depressing.
Country music appeals to the
Wow.
heart and appeals to the emotions of everyone.
My cow died of pneumonia and my dog is on my porch and I'm crying and we're all drinking. Country.
What country songs has she been listening to? Not that that's my favorite genre, but I've never heard one about, what did she say, a cow dying and some, oh my lord.
Super rad. There's rock country and there's pop country and there's folk country. That's what's cool.
True.
Country music. I love it.
We don't usually do country, but fortunately this song is really upbeat, it's fun, it's goofy, and I think that's the great thing about country is that it doesn't take itself too seriously.
When people hear that we're from Arlington, Texas, they immediately assume that we ride horses to school, and it's not like that at all. We actually live in a suburb and don't really listen to country music, which is kind of blasphemous in Arlington, Texas.
Listen, Scotty, don't even worry about it. People that don't live in Australia assume that we're taking bus rides with kangaroos and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm born in England, which is a completely different kettle of fish, because over here, they assume all people do over in England is eat fish and chips, have really bad hygiene, and some people still think they do pilgrimages on villages and all that kind of stuff, which not really, but England had its time, right? But look, there's a lot of Australian stereotypes too, and let me say, I'm in Adelaide, which is a city. I need to go to a zoo to see a kangaroo like anybody else does. It's the same in places like Melbourne and Sydney. These places are probably more relatable to the big cities and countries where you're from. But of course, like everywhere, there are country towns. Even here in South Australia, there's country towns, about an hour or two each way. But I hear what you're saying. Stereotypes. Who needs them?
When I lived in Georgia, in middle school and elementary school, one of the things that we had to do was line dance. We'd do the boot scoot and boogie.
Hit your wagon, hit your wagon, hit your wagon. I used to work on a farm, and on the farm, we drive trucks like this. It's
I was about to say, on that farm he had a dog, E-I-E-I-O.
Country Week is going to be a stretch for all of us.
The show is all about taking songs that I would have never seen us singing and making them awesome.
I've noticed her including a lot of the other groups in the intro to this one. I don't know if that's just the way this edit has been put together or if that's just the way it was.
I'm a rapper, I'm a hip-hop guy. This country stuff is just out of my league, but we have to embrace it and we have to sell it or else we'll be going home.
None of the groups really know country music very well, so we're all going to have to adapt and hopefully give a good performance.
Get him, Kev!
The
final group of the night is a vocal band that's made a name for themselves with their electrifying sound. Turning up their Texas charm, performing Stuck Like Glue by Sugarland, here's Pentatonix.
Let's go, PTX, let's go!
Absolutely no one knows me better. No one that could make me feel so good. How do we stay so long together? Everybody said we never would.
Okay, first impressions, I love the way they're all working together right now. Like, don't get me wrong, Christy's like taking the lion's share of the vocals, but it's great to see her and Scott kind of have a little bit of a vocal moment together. It's good hearing the backups right here. Kev, as usual, and he's making it sound very country as well, Kev. Like, he really is. Like, what he's doing with the kind of drum line he's putting in his voice is perfect. I know we're about to hear Avi just nail it right now, but I want to say first impressions. I've never heard the song, but it is great.
Just when I started thinking right, that love is dying. There you go, making my heart beat again, heart beat again, heart beat again. There you go, making me feel like a kid. Won't you do it one time?
Don't think I can't hear Mitch in the background. Mitch with the pitch always makes it a Mitchuation, and you'll know how I feel about that. Christy killing it too.
Whoa, whoa, stuck like glue. You and me, baby, we're stuck like glue. Whoa, whoa, stuck like glue. You and me, baby, we're stuck like glue.
Whoa, whoa, you almost stay. I got that two stuck together from the AGLM. Whoa, whoa, feeling kinda sick, just as cool. For the sugar, make it better real quick, yeah.
Did Scotty just kind of go on like a country reggae thing? I mean, I'm guessing that might be just the format of the song, but he nailed it though. Like, for somebody who's out of his comfort zone with country music right now, I'm not hearing it. Wow.
Whoa, whoa, what you gonna do with that? Whoa, whoa, come on, over here with that. Sugar singing sweet stuff, come and give me that stuff. Everybody wants stuff, melodies and give stuff, yeah.
Making my heart beat again.
Wow. Man, I gotta say, Scott was really nailing the cadence there too, which is really hard to do when you're trying to sing and kind of maintain a flow at the same time. I'm saying it sounded a bit reggae-ish with the singing. Maybe it's not intended that way, but it just sounded like cadence-wise, it had a bit of that rhythmic flow. But God, did they kill it, man. And don't think I didn't hear Mitch in the background there. Like, he is doing backup, sure, but he's noticeable, you know what I'm saying? And then you've got Avi just with a real deep... I don't even know, what would you really call that? Do you just call that bass when they go really deep with a tone like that? I mean, he's the bassist. Maybe that's exactly what you do. And then Kevin is just like the backbone of the actual music that's behind him. I can see why you'll like this performance, because it seems to me like this is where Pentatonix is being very Pentatonix. You know, whereas they've kind of had to, whether they like it or not, for better or worse, they kind of had to go other directions across the competition. But this felt like they got to kind of sprinkle Pentatonix all over it. It's cool, man. I kind of had the feeling that was the last of the vocal, but I had to say my piece. I'm always looking forward to Ben Folds, man. I don't know why. And he looks impressed.
Club country style on that one. Sean?
I think that was the simplest arrangement I've ever heard Pentatonix do so far in this competition, and even that was fly.
I agree, simple, but just so effective, because it gave them a chance to really do what they do.
Like, what's cool about the original record that Sugarland did was that it lends itself to you guys' strengths in the group, which is, to me, not just the leads, but mainly the meat and potatoes, which is Kevin and Avi, and it showed. Like, it really did. Like, you guys
fully agree with everything you just said.
Strip down for a second, still add your little flavors. I'm so glad y'all did that reggae breakdown.
Can anybody tell me, is that in the original song then? Because he's really praising that, so I don't know whether that's an original idea they came up with or if they're just replicating what already was. You know?
Y'all did everything right to me in this arrangement. Great performance.
Very good breakdown, too, because he's mirroring what I thought.
Kirsty's lead, that really made me happy.
Me too, man. And I just realized that I called her Christy, despite the fact it's Kirsty, and that's the one I'm never going to get right.
The quality you had in your voice singing that, and also understanding that you've come out of a really crappy week of being sick. Had such a pure tone anyway, but the lead just made me smile. And Avi is normal, your bass playing is pretty sick. I mean, up through...
Take it. Take it.
You're a percussionist this time for a moment too. That was cool. But you're just throughout your range. It's like it's so solid. That was a really smart thing you did to kind of reel back and just give us a really relaxed performance, and it just made us smile. Thank you.
It was actually nice to hear Ben break that down, because everybody else is saluting Avi, they're saluting Kev, but not always breaking it down and say, this is why I think what you did was awesome. So it was good to hear.
Sarah, what you think?
That was a really sweet performance. That was as sweet as you guys have been. You made great choices in keeping it simple and just kind of singing the song the way it is. Sugarland, those are my buddies, so I was watching you closely to make sure that you did the song justice, and you absolutely did. So really well done.
Yeah, they nailed it, man. I think the fact they didn't overdo it, they didn't try and go too crazy with it. They just committed to the format, but used their strengths to obviously build up the performance. I think that was the key in this performance.
Thanks, judges, and thank you, Pentatonix.
I'm a professional all of a sudden,
All right, the top 6 shredded the stage with rock jams and took us on a ride through the country. But
Oh,
now,
boy.
it's up to the experts. When we return, we'll find out which groups are moving ahead and which one will be stopped in their tracks. The sing-off. Hold that note.
Such a heartfelt song, and it really means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to us. It was a simple arrangement, but I mean, we just wanted to chill back and show that side of us.
Yeah, I think that was really the key, though. I don't think there needs to be any apology or anything for it being a simple arrangement, because I think that was the key. That was the way to be able to let Avi have his shine. Kev obviously being the backbone of the music element to the whole arrangement. But then, obviously, Mitch was no slouch for the backup vocals either, because you could really hear his sweet voice kind of being their support in the back there. And then I had assumed that it was going to be Kirsty that took the entire I thought she was going to be the solo vocal the whole time, but then Scott comes in and he actually kind of has to do and again I'm confused as to whether it was meant to be a reggae type cadence or whether he just threw that in there to be we're creative and this is what we do. I'm hoping some of y'all will give me a little bit of insight on that. But this was great, man. I mean, y'all said that this is one of your favorite performances out of the whole thing, and I see why. This was great. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all enjoyed the reaction. I did it for your satisfaction. Really hope, in some crazy way, this is effective in maybe getting people's mind off things that are going on in the world right now. I hope y'all are concerned for the Black Lives Matter movement. I really do. I think we all should be in some sense. It's really not a color thing in its entirety, but I just think the support that we're giving to people of color should definitely be very direct and be very heard. At the same time, though, I know that these people that are rioting and protesting and trying to fight against and rebel, they're doing this during a pandemic as well. So let's just talk about how much dedication that takes. I mean, whether you'll agree with the approach to the writing or not, there's mixed opinions about that, even among the color community. But to the people that are just protesting, just peacefully protesting, trying to get their message across and just trying to say, hey, I know all lives matter, but you'll have had plenty of attention. Could we please just have attention on us for just a moment? Because we've been dealing with this too much recently and it's happening again, and clearly we're not being heard. So sorry to make it so serious, by the way. I did just want to end on a cool note and be like, hey, I'm out, see you later. But I do have a feeling on it. And no, I'm not going to use this platform to just shove it down your throat. But, I just want to let you all know what's on my mind. I really don't know the color of the skin of the people that are viewing my videos. But I hope you all know that you're definitely, whoever you are, you can be a person of any color. Any shade of brown that you might be, any shade of black that you might be, any type of Asian persuasion that you might be, I just hope you know that you're being considered, you're being thought about. here in Adelaide, Australia, there's no protests that are being organised or anything at the moment. But I just think really sharing the information, taking in the information, like soaking it in, because that's important in understanding the message. There's no better way to be able to spread it than to understand it. And, you know, just signing petitions, just lending a little bit of support. That's something you can do as an ally, even if, you know, you're not from the US or whatever, okay? That was a long intro, man. I apologize. I didn't mean for it to go that long. Stay safe. Being healthy is wealthy. I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed the reaction.